inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in you, cause real women don't bitch, no. Real women don't, 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 real women don't bitch.
Hey, thank you for joining me on the Real Women Don't Bitch podcast. This is your proud host, August Crenshaw, aka Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. I am the #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs because building mental muscle is necessary in order to implement successful business strategies. This show has been created for the woman who is not excuse-driven and needs help building a profitable business. I will be interviewing women from various fields who are willing to break the silence on struggles that specifically affect female entrepreneurs. Welcome to a show where I and guest speakers from time to time share our methods that help us beast our business no matter what is going on in our lives. Whether you are an online or brick and mortar business owner, this show is for you. We will hit every angle, personal, professional, and spiritual. Why? Because on any given day, you get hit with shit from a scenario involving one, more, or perhaps all of the above. It all impacts you and your mindset towards your business. I have made it my personal mission to provide a space where we dive deep into the BS we face on a day-to-day basis. Hey, ladies. Oh, God. I sound so freaking nasal, but I'm still here, and that's what matters the most. So, look, I'm not even going to be all extra formal or whatever. This is so duper juicy, because I got my girl Pika in the building. Say what's up?
What's up? What's going on, you guys?
Ooh, you guys, you know, she's been on here a few times. And so what we're doing right now is we just having an informal girlfriend chit-chatter moment. But y'all know that when you put two people like me and Pika together, that the girlfriend chit-chatter is going to be full of nuggets. Can I get it?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Amen.
Yeah, so I don't even know where we start. I kind of almost want to start where we were ending our conversation.
That's fine. You go ahead. I'm ready. I have nothing to hide.
So Pika and I were having this conversation, and towards the end of it, we got into the dynamics of our relationships with certain men because of the perceived status or celebrity with our brand and how we show up in business, and how, because there's still this thing, right, where there are some male-dominated areas where we basically won't sell our soul for growth. We won't sell our soul for notoriety. And so I was just telling her about some of the verbal sparring that I've had, like with men on LinkedIn and stuff like that, and how I would rather take 5 years to build my own platform and to expand my own empire than to accelerate in 18 months just because a man could open up a quote unquote door for me if it meant that I had to sacrifice my authenticity if I had to water down who I am to make him feel good, because I'm this bold soul that, if you ain't secure in your manhood, could appear confrontational. But why can't I just be me? So go ahead, girl. You give it to the people.
Yeah. As I was talking, like, I was thinking back to when I created my brand, right? And there are so many women out here that are creating brands, that are creating services, trying to help the general population. But eventually it turns into, we're helping other sisters, which is fine. And I was trying to figure out, who's my audience? Do I do men? Do I do women? Do I do both? But what I'm finding out is, as I was building my brand, as it evolved, it changed a couple of times along the way, I realized that women are a little more open to taking help, whereas men are seeing you out there online, live all the time, And what they are looking for is the attractiveness quality of who you are, not what you have to say most times. Now, there are some guys out there that are willing to, take the help and want to learn more and do better. But most people that slide into your DMs who happen to be male aren't looking for help. They're looking for you to fly to India just to be with them. And I'm like, no, I'm actually doing work. I'm not here for, nonsense. So it's been strange. It's been a very strange journey when it comes to figuring out if it's one sex or all that I'm actually going to go look into service.
And what happens with a lot of us is in the beginning, I know for me, like being active in different churches and the community and stuff like that throughout all my life, I've helped men and women. But the difference is, even though I was a bold soul back then, I'm still, repping the church or repping the ministry. I'm still within the constructs of this organization. Whereas now I'm doing what I'm doing and I'm saying, and this is my house. This is my building. This is my brand. And so less and less men have come to me, but it still is slimming down more and more. The more vibrant and the more bold I get, there's this thing of, if you're a damsel in distress, I can come and help you. Or I happen to like your swag and the way that you look. I think that you're really beautiful and maybe we can transition you into doing something different. And it's funny that we're having this conversation, but but that's like, take it to hip hop. Isn't that pretty much what's happened? I mean, there are some women out there that are some badass lyricists. If you guys really ever just dig and listen to underground hip hop, I mean, and when you hear these sisters, that era of being able to have, a Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, Salt and Pepper, just like a plethora, Yo-Yo. We had so many female MCs where now it's like everybody vying for that one position. It was all about, could you take Nicki Minaj down? Now it's the rising of Cardi B, and not either one of these sisters for what they do, because that is their brand. But isn't it kind of peculiar that we don't have a sister that's coming up like Lil Mama that isn't trying to be like, because she has some dope ass skills. Now there's a little bit more to her story too, about some decisions that she made weren't necessarily the best. But overall, you're not going to get a sister like her that's walking in her power and authority and telling you what it is if she's not willing to sacrifice herself. And and if she wants to preserve her sexy, then she can't break through. And so there are a lot of women, the reason why they're not making it is because they won't compromise their values. And so the question is in our industry, is there something kind of like that too? But it's not necessarily about being sexy. It's about people wanting you to compromise your stance for their ego.
Exactly. And I'm looking at people like in my culture, like Superwoman. She started off in comedy, right? And once she got really big in comedy, then she broke out into, let me teach you about life and let me teach you about, your values and stuff. So she started that way. And she's done a lot for our culture, and I really appreciate that. But does that mean that I need to start off in comedy? Can I start my own way? Does that mean that I need to follow some kind of a system? Do I need to follow the people that came before me? Or can I stand in my own power? I love dressing culturally, right? You see me in saris all the time. I love being outside. I like not wearing makeup. I like being able to show my face, because I feel like if you see me on the street, you should know exactly what I look like. It shouldn't be one of these, I look phenomenal in makeup and then I take my makeup off and I look completely different. So I'm trying really hard to just be me. But by being me, I'm also attracting a lot of attention. Not necessarily the kind that I want, but I mean, you take the good with the bad, right? And it's a matter of how do you politely turn people away and politely reaffirm that this is my brand. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for me. I'm not going to change it for you. I'm not going to tailor it for you, unless of course it's the advice that I'm giving you because we're having like a private conversation and you're really asking for help. So I'm not changing for anybody, but it's hard for a lot of people to take, I feel like, and especially men, because they come at you like, hey, hi. It starts, right? And unfortunately, a lot of these Indian guys, they get very highly offended if you don't write back, if you tell, if you get to a little bit of a conversation going and suddenly they say, I don't want you as my mom. And I'm thinking, oh, here we go. So it's an immediate block function on me, on my end, but they get highly irritated. I get people that, will create another account and come at me that way. And I'm thinking, come on, I'm trying to do some work here. I'm trying to do some good. Why is it just about what I look like?
And, I want to actually, not even necessarily play devil's advocate, just really bring up something else that is real, kind of even pulling it away from the men and putting it back to the women because of something that you said, about the makeup. So for anybody that's watching us on YouTube, like right now, I mean, I do have like some eyeliner and some lip gloss on, but I gotta look. I even put her on, I got a tank top on. I was like, hey, do I look too comfortable? I'm kind of just chill because it's like we're 12 hours apart, so it's 8 o'clock in the morning for her. It's 8 o'clock in the evening for me, and I'm just in straight chill mode. And so a lot of people know me, lately, as of late, I've been dolled up a little bit more, but it's really been because of being like doing more speaking engagements and being in the camera and doing stuff. But you guys already know I put on a do-rag and be outside riding my bike and stop and be sweaty looking like I'm a part of NWA. If I have to, I'm going to do a live, regardless of what I look like. But are we ladies also perpetuating something that says that the more successful you get, that the more polished you have to look? And what's that fine line? Because you do, you know what I'm saying? You don't, it's like going for a job. You don't be like, oh, well, I'm putting my wife beater and my baggy pants on. You do put on your best. You dress for success and you look your best. But do we also have expectations for one another where we want someone to look a certain way in order to be able to say, yes, she's successful enough? And before we start, saying, no, yeah, I agree with you, August. The way the litmus test for this question for me is, if you needed her help, would you work with her? Because there are so many of us that we sit next to women that are full of genius every single day, but the woman looks ordinary. Her edges aren't as slick. Her brows aren't as sharp, and she doesn't have that look. And some of you are trying to get to that woman that looks that way, and this ordinary person who every time she opens her mouth is sheer genius is sitting next to you, but because she looks too ordinary, you won't pay her. And is that really because she doesn't, meet the criteria? Or are you judging her based off of her appearance?
And yeah, definitely. I do want to jump off of that because, I look at people like Marie Forleo, totally polished, always show up in her A game, and that's cool for her. But I don't know if I would recognize her on the street if she was just, going about her business at the grocery store or whatever. But I want to be that person where I am the same here right now. I brush my teeth, my hair looks a little crazy, but it is early morning and, I'm getting my work done. Us CEOs, the ones that start at the bottom or whatever, wherever you want to call it, I'm a mom first. I don't have time to, to make sure that my hair is on point, my makeup is on point. I am in between running around taking care of her and running around with my clients and making sure that my work is done. You talking about you in a wife beater and, you wonder if you look, decent. You look great because I know for a fact you are turn out a whole book just sitting like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's who you are. You're not playing. How you dress. Honestly, this is the life I want. I want to be able to release that creative genius no matter what's going on. I don't want to have to be at work punching the clock to be able to release that genius. If I have to sit in my underwear at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm still going to release it. It's still my genius, right?
Yes. And that right there, that's the key. So the question is that what you want? Because if you want the glitz, the glamour, and to be dolled up, because like some people, even though they don't have a lot of money, there's just something about them that they're very fashionable. My 14-year-old, she just loves patterns, designs, fashion. Yeah. She loves makeup. Please understand, ladies, we're not talking about that. But if you are like a laid back person like me, like I prefer, tennis shoes and a cute tee. If I'm going to doll up anything, I love for my hair to be like a showstopper. I love for people to be like, dang, girl. And so my hair, I like for it to be a conversation piece. That's what matters to me. Everything else can be cool and comfy. If I'm going somewhere special, I'll do it different. But I also want to say this. You made me think about something back in the day, right? And this is taking it back to church. We need Charlene. We should have did like a 3.
I know, right? We should do that one time.
You know what? We are. I bet, and I know Charlene will be down for it. But so like that, so just to kind of paint the picture for you guys, I come from, old school church, where, the spirit.
When you dress up on Sunday?
They run around, woo, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus, start speaking in tongues and all that. See what Medea do. And so when coming up in that type of church, when I finally started, really coming out of my shell and being who I am, everybody else that you were putting your Sunday's best. I'm like, shoot.
Yes, Sunday best. Yep.
Jeans and a t-shirt and some tennis shoes, my little earrings and have my hair done. And people would come to me and basically challenge why I'm not, quote unquote dressed up. And I used to be like, well, I ain't even trying to be funny. But if sister so-and-so over here is going to end up being slain in the spirit, she 5'7", 200 pounds. I'm 5 foot, barely 130 pounds. I'm going to need to be able to maneuver. I ain't got time to be in no heels, and trying to, keep myself together and look pretty and catch somebody who's quote unquote being slain in the spirit. And I feel that same way about the work that I do. There's this essence and there's this grit to what I do that sometimes yes, the persona that matches my success is me being in the tees and the jogging pants because I'm battling it. I say the analogy all the time, I'm going to get down in the trenches with you, level coach. I'm going to get down and dirty with you. So for me, this works. I'm not doing all of this stuff so that I can still perpetuate corporate America by looking a certain kind of way. So ladies, are you really being true to your brand and your desires when you're building your business? Or are you building a new cage, a new box?
And I want to make sure we are very clear, and I know August will back me up on this. I am not knocking the fact that y'all want to get dressed up and get jigged up and, dress the nines and all of that. That's fine. If that's where you are most powerful, where you feel the most powerful, great. Now, as a sexual abuse survivor, it took me a while to come and find where I was most comfortable. If I'm in track pants and a shirt, if I'm out here looking like Aaliyah, right? I feel good because I know if I need to, cut and run, I can. I know if I need to, walk down the street. I like where you like your hair to be a showstopper. I like to look intimidating where you can't figure out, who I am. You got to really feel the energy. I like when I can walk down the street and maybe I have a toothpick in my mouth. Maybe I'm chewing gum and I have my gaze set so nobody comes and messes with me. I like that. I feel good. I feel like I'm untouchable. So I'm talking about where do you feel most untouchable? Don't set yourself up to where you constantly have to be in new clothes. I know people that can't go to the beach because they don't have a new swimsuit because they wore it in the last set of shots they threw on IG. No, come on, that's not real life. I don't have time. I don't have the money to go out and buy a new bikini every time I go to the beach. I am a mom, okay? I'm lucky if I get a new t-shirt every now and again. I'll be very frank with you. A lot of the clothes that I've had for the last 10 years. So everybody's seen my entire wardrobe and I don't care. I know that when we go to the temple, I love being in saris, but there are so many different materials that you could wear. There's the chiffon and there's the silks and all these things. And if I stand next to a lot of my family who've grown up here, I look like an old grandma because I'm still wearing hand-me-down saris, but I feel good because it's light. It flows well. It's easy for me to tie and I can move. I can still carry my daughter on my hip with a sari on. And she's 8. Okay. I've had people come up to me and be like, oh my gosh, you're carrying her. Do you want me to take her off your arms for me? And these are men that will come up and be like, you want me to take her off sure. And I will hand the baby to her, to them. And they're like, oh God, shoot, she's really heavy. I'm like, yeah, she's heavy, but I can handle it, So I like to dress in such a way that I feel powerful. I feel unstoppable. And that was something that I had to figure out for myself because there was a phase in my life where I just wanted to shrink into the background. I didn't want anyone to notice me. Ooh. I did not want to be noticed for my body. I did not want to be noticed for my face, things that I can't really change. This is my bone structure. It's not going to change overnight. I can't change my bone structure. I can change my musculature. Thank you. But there was a time where I didn't feel that way either, August. Honestly, I did not feel beautiful. I did not feel strong. I did not feel like I could face the world. And now that I am in this space and I have this gorgeous little girl that looks up to me, I want to show her that no matter what, she will love her hair because she is mixed. She will love her skin tone because she is a gorgeous caramel color. And she will love everything about her because she needs to live in that body the rest of her life.
Yeah.
She needs to feel comfortable in her body. I lived through a situation that took my confidence from me, my innocence from me. I did not feel comfortable in my body. I did not feel comfortable at all. I did not like people looking at me. I did not like people, talking about me. When people come and tell you that you're beautiful, you kind of shrink, thank you, and keep on going. Like you don't feel good. It's supposed to pump you up a little bit more. And it took me a while to figure that out. And even after that, there was a time where I was like, well, if they're not looking at me for my body, then what do they want? And we were talking about that a little bit earlier. Like, that's not rejection. Technically, it's not rejection, but I'm telling myself it is because of certain things I've lived through.
Man, and this is real because and I say this because there's so many women that are building their business or going through life, and you're still single and you're navigating. Everybody isn't, married, and, and everybody isn't happily married either.
Mm-hmm.
And, so that question is, you said so much. So number one is what do you need to look like, and how do you need to present yourself in order to be able to stand up in power? Because that's one of the most important things. And out of everybody that I've always worked with, that's what I've always looked for. How do you show up in order for you to be the force, in order for you to be like a freaking force, a freak of nature, that when people hear you speak about that subject matter, that you're the bee's knees. And I do know, still going back to that essence of, what you look like. I remember there was a season where me and my husband were like going at it. And I know that he was looking at it more so for, keeping up with the brand and keeping stuff polished. He was like, this the third video you've done, with that same, teal t-shirt on, you need to change it. And he's like, we need to go to the store. We need to buy you some new shirts. Now, mind you, this was also during the season when, for those of you that know my journey, that we damn near bankrupt ourselves. And I was like, even though I could go to the Goodwill and I could go and find some really nice stuff there, I was like, we need to go buy groceries, more than we need to buy ourselves a new shirt. And I remember one day looking at him and saying, you know what? I am not like the average entrepreneur. No matter what's going on, I'm standing up in my fucking power, and I am going live. I was going live every day, Pika. Multiple times a day, and I still for the most part.
Yeah, you do.
But excuse me, my videos are a little shorter, but real talk. But still, I was going lives out of my group, in my group, in other people's groups, and I'm going. I said, so what? I'm gonna have to have 365 shirts? I don't think so, because what's coming out of my mouth, that's where the value is. And a lot of you, that's another question. Are you not showing up because if you have to wear something over and over again, that you feel like you don't look like you're adequate? I remember I had this client when I was a hairstylist, and she was a pretty affluent woman. And she would come to just show you how she was. She could come, and within the same week, if her and her two daughters got their hair done, it was customary for her to tip me $20 per person.
That's
so there were hairstyles that I could do in an hour and get paid $60. I knew that week I was going to get me an extra hairdo worth of tips just from her alone. God forbid that I did anything above and beyond, because it would be a $50 tip.
Yeah.
But you want to know something? When it came time for them to go to the black tie affairs, she even said her and those other women that had a lot of money, they all had that faithful black dress. They maybe had a few that they would put in rotation. It was the accessories or something simple that they would change to make it look like there was
the look of the dress.
But we have this idea that we got to have 15 million different outfits in order for us to look the part. And it's like, no, you know what? Just be humble. This world has us chasing material things. And so living below your means is like, oh, if you say you live below your means, or you a minimalist or something like that, then you're defying the law of attraction. You don't believe in abundance. No, I do believe in abundance, and I have an abundance of love, wealth, and health and everything around me. But in order for me to prove that I have that, I'm not about to, show that exists through material possessions.
Honestly, I mean, and let's look at the things that we make fun of. There was a time in American culture where people would, make fun of the man driving the fly-ass car only to park it in front of the projects because they weren't living below their
Hello.
means. We used to make fun of people who wore high waters because obviously they just didn't have the money to buy new clothes, but suddenly that's trendy because that's hipster fashion now. They used to talk about, oh gosh, this guy has holes in his jeans and stuff. Obviously, he doesn't have the kind of money to buy new clothes even though he's ripped up his jeans, and now we made that fashion, so it's not a bad thing anymore. We used to talk about big baggy jeans. Obviously, they were hand-me-downs, and you had to grow into them. And why would you sag them because they're too big for you, you don't have a belt big enough or whatever. But now that's cool. Like, we've made sure that everything that was pointing towards not having enough money to get new stuff all the time, or trying to make do with what you have and hand-me-downs and all those things. We've made those things that used to have like a bad connotation to them to suddenly be cool. So we don't feel badly about ourselves. What really is that? Like, why is that bad? Why is that bad?
Wow. And I've never heard anybody break that down like that. Everybody else is always trying to show how this proves something else. That was heavy. I gotta slow down for a second.
Honestly, I remember when my stepson, fell in love with hipster fashion. He started wearing skinny jeans, and I used to chase him around the kitchen. And if he fell over, I could pick him up by his belt buckle because he couldn't bend his knees to get up by himself. I mean, it was. So I'm saying though, like,
No.
all these things that we used to think were bad, small clothes, big clothes that are too big, clothes with holes in them. Now we go out and we cut them up ourselves because now it's cool. But acid wash jeans, why was that? Because you wore them so much that you had like a lightness over your knees or lightness over your wherever you were wearing them. Now we make it that way.
Yeah.
Because now we think, if you acid wash them in just the right way. Back then it was like we just about got it worn in so that it fits us well.
Yes.
But it had worn down the color in the denim, and that it's crazy to me.
Yeah.
It's not about how much money you have. You're absolutely right. Accessories will make the outfit. I mean, I used to buy outfits where they could stand alone. Now I make sure that anything I buy can fit anything else in my wardrobe so I can mix and match them up.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about it no more.
I went to a thing with Dawn this past weekend, with her, for her organization, and she had the fashionista there. And that was one of the things that she was talking about. She showed the 10 items, that you could have in your wardrobe, and how you could interchange them and create like 52 outfits. And just saying, hey, you can look your best and feel your best without breaking the budget, which was really good for those of you all that don't know who Dawn is. If you haven't been paying attention, Dawn Peak is the CEO, the founder and creator of My Sister's Keeper of Atlanta. And so she deals with women who have been victims of sexual trauma, raising awareness and giving them resources. And so in her meetings, when the women come there, sometimes she's doing things with them, but then she also will have guest speakers. And so you think about some of these women coming out of situations where they have a minimum amount of money, a minimum amount of resources, for this woman to be breaking down that, hey, even though you don't have very much, this is how you work with what you have so that you can still hold your head up high, so that you can still get out there. And so, like, really taking, there's so many different ways this conversation is going. Think about all of those women that have been victims, and you got your story. My story is nowhere near as heinous, as yours was, but we've got our stories to tell, and they've affected how we've shown up in a different season in our life. But look at these women who have been victimized, who are now survivors, but still have to deal with the baggage and the residue. And that is something that periodically comes out over the duration of your life. Yeah. But there's somewhere there's power inside of you. There's power out inside of you, and some great thing that you need to do. And the last thing we need any of you women to think or feel is that because you don't have an adequate amount of material possessions, that you can't walk in your power, and that you can't stand up and begin to change the world with what you have. And as a woman that at one season had only an air mattress, as a woman who was like, okay, we're going to get peanut butter and jelly. We're going to get apples. We're going to get like oatmeal or rice, really simple things when we went grocery shopping. That I've had to come from that place you know, and that says a lot, you know what I'm saying? Because when I lived in St. Louis, me and my husband, we weren't lacking for anything.
Right.
We had the house, we had the cars, we had the businesses, we had the lifestyle, we were a part of the right organizations, we went to the right churches, we had friends, we had those things, but somewhere there still was obviously a lack of purpose, the divine purpose that was there. But in order to build that purpose out, and I take full responsibility for, you know, buying some of the wrong products, talking to the wrong people, doing the wrong thing. I almost lost it all to be in a position now where I am, as with Job in the Bible, am getting double for my trouble, where I'm rebounding. And Job didn't just get double for his trouble. He got doubly blessed back from God, and men continue to also give to him and bless him. And so a lot of you, where you feel like you're at your lowest and you're being the most stricken and the most is taken from you, if you can still just choose to stand because the genius is within you, that blessing is going to come back. And so the theme that keeps on going through this whole conversation is what material things, what perceptions are some of you listeners allowing to block you from going to your next level in your business? For everybody that looks different. And I don't even want to say your business right now. I just want to say your purpose, because I know what I do is my business, but this is my life's call. This is my purpose. This is what I was born to do. And if I never made a dime from it, I can't stop doing this. If I disappeared tomorrow,
she does it naturally, y'all.
If I stopped, I would die. I wouldn't feel like I had a reason to live.
Exactly. And honestly, if nothing else comes from this particular podcast episode, I want you ladies and men to understand there is always a way to get your word out. There's always a way to get whatever you need to get done. And money is more distraction nowadays than it is creating opportunities. I'll put it to you like this. I had a great job. I was making enough money. I could do whatever I want. But if you look at what I was spending my money on, it was useless things. Now, when you don't have money, you got to get a little creative. You were talking about peanut butter and jelly. Yeah, for me, the staples were bread, milk, eggs, and sugar. You know how much I can do with bread, milk, eggs, and sugar? It's like way old school. We can have sugar sandwiches. Yes, Miss Country is a sugar sandwich. But it's very simple. You know, it's a very simple lifestyle. But I can make do. Me and my daughter, we will eat well on bread, eggs, milk, and sugar. I may throw in some garlic and onions in there so I can do a couple of different things, but it's very, very essential stuff. Yeah. The other thing is, what I found is when I had money, it would be like, oh, I can't start this until I buy that to make it great. I can't make videos until I have the backdrop and the correct lights. Bullshit. We're talking about how we show up and how we look in life. You know what? I was afraid to get in front of the camera. Let me put it to you like this. I still use Facebook Audio Live. There is that function, you guys. You could do live audio, okay? My podcast is live audio every day, and I showed up every day. Right now, I'm sitting on, almost 400 episodes of a podcast. Yes. And you know what? My voice matters. You don't have to look at what I look like. It doesn't matter what I look like. Mm-hmm. My hair doesn't have to be done. I don't have to be, I could be wearing the same shirt 100 times in a row. You wouldn't know it, but my voice, my message is still good. Yeah, it's still me. It's still raw. So yes, we want to get paid. We want this to be our lifestyle and everything. And minimalist or not, whatever the case may be, don't let money become the distraction for why you can't get it started.
No. And I'll bring in this one cool. I remember when I was going to school to get my degree in business admin. At that season, the CEO of Costco, don't know if this is still true, if he's still there. He was like in the bottom 10 for the highest paid CEOs in America. He was bringing in, I think it was over 300K. But, you say CEO of a company, you're thinking bringing in millions, some billions. You think about their worth. And this man, he was bringing in for himself, and my numbers may be wrong, but still, it was nowhere near a million. It was in the hundreds of thousands. But that's because the money that he could have been taking in for himself when the country was going through the crisis and they started changing, how much insurance your employer would cover and what the cost of it would be for you. That money that he could have been for him was money that he put back into that. And so when people got, even if it was just, a checkout person, what you found is that people that worked at Costco's, they were very loyal because of the atmosphere, because of the benefits. And so that man, he was like, I don't have to have all of that. I still can travel the world. I still have an inheritance that I'm leaving, for my family. Everything is still all good, but he didn't need all of that. And so a lot of times people equate success to, like, if you're a minimalist, that you're not operating in enough flow or enough spirit for abundance to come to you. And that's not true. Like, people hear me say all the time, oh, I'm a 7-figure sister. Please understand, being a 7-figure sister is not about me netting $1 million. Me being a 7-figure sister is about my empire bringing in $1 million. And because you are involved in the collaboration corner, but the way that I have my business set up, when it all ultimately explodes, there are several women who've decided to come with me that are going to explode with me. Now, let's just say hypothetically something is $500. All of these affiliates that I have, they may be getting $100 a pop here and there, but as I'm constantly getting, they're getting. Because if we get referrals all the time, I use the example like with cell phones. If I refer somebody to T-Mobile, T-Mobile may give me a gift card, or they may give me a credit on my bill. But whoever I refer to you, if they stay with you for 10 years, every month that organization is collecting from them. And unless I invest or purchase stocks, I'm not getting anything else from T-Mobile, but T-Mobile is always getting something because of what I've done. So for me, the way that I'm building my business is saying, oh, okay, I'm going to do this a little bit differently. If you send me someone and I make money from them every single month, then guess what? You're going to get a portion every single month. And so there'll be people who may get a few hundred, people that may get multiple thousands, and so on and so forth. And as the brand goes and expands, but that's because of the nature of the way that I built what I have, because I don't need my calculation is already there to be able to travel, to live the way we want, to have the things we want. I don't need $1 million to myself every year. And I'm always the person who wants to bring people with me. So it's really just about checking your dream. It's about checking your value system. What do you want? When you construct that dream, what does it really look like? And then do it your way. Do it your way, the way you see it, the way you feel it. Do it your way with the way you look and the way that you show up. All of this has to do with just doing it your way.
Absolutely. And you were mentioning, do it your way, as in like how you show up. You were talking about being in a cage earlier, right? There was a time in my house, there was a time in my life where I couldn't leave the house without having makeup on. And that was an insecurity of mine. I'm not done. I'm not beautiful yet. And I don't want that for myself. And I definitely don't want that for my daughter. So having a daughter changed all that for me. I need to be beautiful no matter where I am, no matter what I look like. I need to feel beautiful.
Yes.
Now, everyone says beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and that's absolutely true. My daughter thinks I'm beautiful when I have sleep in my eyes still, my hair is all over my head, and I have morning breath. Yes, I have morning breath. So when she thinks I'm so beautiful, and she gives me permission to just be me, there's less pressure. I can just have fun. There's no restrictions, there's no expectations. And that's where that true happiness comes from. That's where that contentment comes from. What I teach is that I want you to be yourself and be happy about it.
Yeah.
When you can be content, when you can get rid of all of those expectations, you kind of eliminate a lot of reasons for heartache, y'all.
Yeah. Man, this was a dope conversation. I think
always.
I think we're at a point where if we stop talking, we can kind of give like a cool exit, because if we say something else, we're going to transition into like another 30 conversation. Man, so look, ladies, this is the final closing thought for you.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening with you in your business? Are you satisfied? Have you found yourself not taking care of yourself, covering up blemishes, spiritually deprived, emotionally not intact? What's going on with you from a spiritual and emotional perspective when it comes to building your business? One of the reasons why the Business Mastery Summit was constructed the way that it is because that it's not enough just to teach you about emails, funnels, branding, pricing, packaging, and all of that good stuff. As women, all of these things are so wrapped up in the day-to-day functions, and we're struggling and we're warring with all of those things. And even some of them may disappear sometimes, but then if we go to another level or we get another opportunity, then all of these things creep back up. And we're discussing everything. We're literally discussing everything: where your spirit is, where your emotion is, how you deal with change, what are your standards for self-care, how do you take care of yourself physically, as well as all of those other parts for building your business. If you have not registered yet, don't miss this opportunity. The summit is FREE. It's free. For a limited time free, but free nevertheless. So April the 24th to the 27th, you're going to have access to free videos. For those of you, once you register, you're beginning to see the level of value that comes. It comes from me and my guest. Pika is one of the speakers. She'll be speaking on emotional intelligence. We are on fire. And as long as you do it before April the 24th at midnight, 11:59 p.m., right before midnight on the 25th, you can get an all-access pass for $97, where we'll also give you an opportunity to speak to us live and to ask us questions in a panel discussion. We've set this up. We've set this up for you to succeed. And if it's not this, if it's something else, hey, it's going to be open panel. You can ask us whatever you like, but we definitely want to make sure that we extend an invitation so that you can be able to have the same boldness and power that you hear from Pika and I. That's just because we've decided that, you know what, we love the skin we're in. And so that's my 2 cents. Pika, why don't you give them your 2 cents about the summit?
Honestly, in the true spirit of giving, August has created such an empowering event. I mean, 21 of us, okay? We're not all the same. We're not teaching the same things, but everything overlaps, you guys. And you can see it in the way we speak to each other, the way we support each other. I didn't know half of these women before I actually signed up to be a speaker on the summit. But even then, yes, up until 11:59 on the 24th, right, you have access to this free event, meaning to say that every one of these 21 speakers and their segments are available to you for a 24-hour period for free. Now, obviously, if you don't have the time or you can't make the time, you can pay to have access to them after the event is over. But before that even, register and sign up, because what August is doing is she's created a Facebook group for all of us, and I mean speakers and participants, right? To be in the same group, to be able to talk to each other, to teach each other before the event comes up. I mean, it's only the 18th over here. It's the 17th still. So St. Patty's Day over there, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you still have over a month to get to know the speakers. What we've been telling everyone wherever we go is check them out. Okay, figure out who the speakers are. Go look at their profiles. Go listen to them speak. If they're giving away free, which usually they are.
Yeah.
You can see what kind of content they're doing. You can see what kind of personality they have. You can see if you actually vibe with any of these people. Maybe you're not cool with me. You don't like the way I speak. Whatever. I don't care. But maybe you and I don't get along that well. Chances are out of 21 people, you'll find somebody else that does.
Yeah.
Okay? You'll find somebody that's going to teach you the way you want to be taught.
Absolutely.
You'll find somebody that's teaching something that you need in your business.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing to be in an environment where everybody is saying, you know what, we're here to learn and to grow and to work together. This is what you guys are really looking for. You're looking for this level of sisterhood and camaraderie and relationship. And I said, hey, if that's what we're really going to create, then we have to change the way that it's created from the beginning. So more than just promote, event, ticket. It's really, we're promoting you. We're promoting people. We're promoting opportunity. And if you need the slightest bit of help with your business, which most of us do, then yeah, just go to, of course, the links are on the site, but go to augustcrenshaw.com/business mastery. Check it out and see what's there, and then sign up.
You lose nothing by signing up. You get a couple more emails. You get to know a little something. I mean, if you decide after signing up that you don't want to be part of it, I mean, unsubscribe, whatever. But as much as I talk about showing up authentically, and makeup or no makeup, the same t-shirt 100 times in a row or not, I don't promote people unless I believe in them.
Yeah.
Okay, August and I have a good enough relationship over the last year. I've never physically met her, but I've spoken to her so many times in the last year that I know she's for real. She's helped me. I was a client of hers. Okay, the other speakers, Imani, Camille, Terry, Charlene, we mentioned in this earlier. Hopefully, we'll do the three-way call or whatever. A lot of these women, they share that same fervor. They want to help you based on the things that they have been through. You don't get that everywhere, you guys, and you're getting 21 of us in the same place at the same time.
Yes. So we will see you there. And in the meantime and in between time, we out at 5,000 G.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you
you
guys for listening. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining me today. Remember to cultivate a mindset that is biased towards taking action. No bitching, whining, or complaining. Here, our mantra is, real women don't bitch, we get shit done. See you next week as I continue to bring you what you need to keep your head in the game and beast your business. Don't forget to hit subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. Would you like a specific topic covered? Have a question you would like answered live? Then head on over to realwomendon'tbitchpodcast.com. Subscribe to my email list, hit me up, and I got you. Interested in being a guest speaker? You walk the walk? Then you can sign up on the website too. This is your #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs, Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. Signing out. Deuces.
Inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in you.